This is a quick little blog video for April 8th, 2016. I'm going to show you the stats and then show you some examples of the trades. It was a very, very good week. Fixed a lot of patterns that were giving the system trouble, and also added some amazing ones that back tested very well and found a lot of very high probability winners. Each day I add some new patterns, and I also delete and fix some patterns that have troubles. So any pattern that I fixed obviously is not in these stats, and there's some new ones that I added that day that also are in these stats. That's how I do this. So keep in mind that while on Friday you can see there's 54 trades, 646 pips. There's probably 5 or 6 trades that would have been about 50 pips of additional losers, and maybe 150 to 300 pips additional trades that were added that would not have shown up live. So you can cut this in half or even by 2/3 to see a rough estimate of what it did live. Many days this week it had over 200 pips net before I made any changes to it. I'd fix 5 or 6 patterns that were losers, and that would get rid of about 50 or 60 pips of losses, and then add 5 or 6 new patterns which might account for 200 or 300 pips. So, but again, you can watch these stats in the past. It's all been done this way, and you can see how there's more trades each day on average going forward, as there's nearly 4,000 patterns in there now. So again, that's Friday. And the key to trading is small losses, big wins. That's what I focus on. You can see there's a lot more wins than losses. 34, average pips 22. The average loss most days is around 8. This one's 6.78. Here's Thursday. Thursday had a ton of trades. 68 trades, 578 pips. You can see 28 losses. They had 7.8 pips each. And there are a lot of wins. 40 wins at 19.9 pips. And most days I can only code up 5 or 6 new patterns. So keep that in mind when you see 40 wins. Obviously, do not create 40 patterns that day. It's impossible. Each one takes 20-30 minutes minimum. Plus, I spend more time now fixing bad patterns than I do adding new ones. Here is Wednesday. 43 trades, 401 pips. And you can see the average loss is 6.8. The average win is 22. So again, almost 4 times, 3.5 to 4 times bigger wins and losses. Here is Tuesday, the biggest day of the week, 789 pips. Very few losses that day, 7.4. And a lot of wins, 36 wins, 25 pips on average for each. I mean, just an outstanding day. As far as the winning percentage and number of pips for the wins versus the small size of the loss, probably one of the best days in the last 2 years. Very high winning percentage that day. And here's Sunday, Monday. Most Sunday, Mondays usually around 180 to 220 pips. So this did better than average. 276 pips. And you can see the losses are only 15 of them, 8 pips each. And 25 wins. And a little bit smaller average win than normal. Most days the average wins anywhere from 18 to 25. So this is a very small, on average, winning day. And if you subtract the 2 biggest ones, it only averaged 12 pips. So a lot of these trades were small ones that day. Now I'll just show you some of the trades. Here's the euro dollar. You can see this one right here was about a break even or maybe a 2 pip loss. Previous to that, it got long right here and got stopped out at around 85. So that'd be about 25 pip win. Previous day, you got about a break even here. Let's take a look at the pound. We have a loss. Oops, let's scroll back a little bit. You have 2 losses. Right before that was about a 20 pip win. Pound yen, I think, had some really good trades on Friday. Here's a very big one here, 10, 20, 30, 40 pip win. about a 15 pip win there, about a 30 pip win, 25 or 30 pip win. And one thing you'll notice on my system, I rarely like to trade or chase markets. So an example in this one here, when it goes up, really didn't have much of a pullback. I'm not going to be getting into that trade usually. So, I frequently will miss very huge wins because the longer term trend of this is down, and most of the time, a very high percentage of the time, this kind of small pullback will be a loser. And so, yeah, you might miss an occasional 50 or 100 pip move, but you're also, on any given week, if I coded up patterns like that, you'll avoid dozens of losing trades per week in the meantime. Between every 100 pip win, you'll avoid a dozen huge losers. Let's keep going back further. Here's Thursday. You can see a nice big win, nice big win. And the wins, as you can see, are even the medium win right here is much bigger than the loss. There's a loss, there's a loss. You can see that one big win right here got rid of the two losses after it. The dollar yen had a really good week. You can see, or I'm sorry, it had a good Friday. This one was a win, win, small loss, win, break even, win, small loss, 10 pip win there, win, loss. Let's take the euro yen here. This one had a few good trades on Friday. Win. That's it, the only trade for the day. Then Thursday you have a win here, pretty much 5 pip loss. Earlier in the day, huge 50 or 60 pip win, huge 75 pip win there. And as you can see, sometimes happens 3 losses in a row. If you stop trading this currency, you missed a win that would have got rid of these 3 losses, plus gave you another 60 or 70 pips on top of it. So that's trading in a nutshell. Sometimes you will have 2, 3 losers in a row, but it doesn't happen as much anymore as I fix older patterns. Here in the dollar Swiss, pretty much 4 or 5 pip loss. Before that, you have about a 6 pip win, and then a 20 pip win. Win here. Earlier in the day, you had pretty much a 2 pip loss and a 12 pip loss. So even in this currency, we only had 3 trades, 1 win. It was probably only down 5 or 6 pips total. This one, it would have been down about 10 pips in that particular currency. So there will be a new release, new version later today, 5.065. When you bring up the software, it will ask you to upgrade it, and just hit yes for auto upgrade, and then you'll have the new version with all the fixes this week and improvements, and also the new patterns, which I have a few that have back tested very well and have found many trades. Usually I create patterns and you might have 5 to 20 trades per year, but when a pattern has 4 or 5 trades in the week with a 60–80% probability, it's very good, and it's going to find a lot of good trades in the future, I believe.